move on to what we saw transpire last night on the field, and something that I predicted. I thought the Packers had a good chance to keep the game close. I'm not going to say that I thought they would win the game, but I did think they had a shot to keep it close. And in all honesty, I'll call it like I see it. Jordan Love is playing much better football. I don't think he's a stud by any means. Chris Collinsworth seems to start watering at the mouth anytime anyone plays good on Sunday Night Football. But he did look very good last night, and he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes made a big mistake late in the game, throwing an interception, which basically cost Kansas City. We had a lot of questionable calls in the game. Final drive of the game, Chiefs down by 8 with the ball. Mahomes running down the sideline gets hit clearly in bounds. A penalty is called for 15 yards. That moves the ball up for the Chiefs. Then later in that series, we had a clear pass interference that was not called on Green Bay. Would have put the ball at the 2-yard line for Kansas City. There was a controversial fumble call that a punch was thrown as Isaiah Pacheco was thrown out of the game. I guess my question here is, let's start with the Packers. They have one of the easiest schedules in the league at the last 5 games. And we'll start with Turner on this one. Turner, do you think the Packers are going to get into the playoffs here?
Oh, I'd have to look at the playoff hunt picture. Are they in right now?
So that they are currently out, but they are.
They play the Giants.
It's going to come down to
Giants, Carolina Panthers, Tampa Bay Bucks.
It's basically going to come down to them and the Vikings.
It's going to come down to them and the Vikings more than likely, but they have. There is a chance because the Rams are currently in the last spot, but the Packers are tied with them record-wise. They're both 6-6, and the Packers play the easiest schedule in the league. They play the Giants at New York next week, at home against the Bucks, at the Panthers, at the Vikings, which will be a huge game, and then home against the Bears. So
I'll say
pretty
they make
easy
it.
schedule.
That's a pretty easy schedule.
Yeah.
The Vikings are going to have to beat them that one game, and then play well down the stretch. But yeah, I'll say they make it. They're playing decent enough football. Jordan Love looks, good right now. He had some really bad games too. So I think the jury's still out on him. I mean, I don't know if he's as good as he's shown this last few weeks, but only time will tell. But I will say I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, no
after
kidding.
After the middle of the season, I definitely didn't see him just turning his game around. And I haven't watched him play a ton, so I don't know if LaFleur's making changes to the play calling or what's going on. But they're moving the ball great, and they were not moving the ball at all for like 5 games.
No, they weren't. And I will give them credit because before last night, you could say, okay, the last 2 games, Love played good. They played the Chargers and the Lions, 2 of the worst secondaries in football. Mm-hmm. But last night, the Chiefs' defense, albeit they were beat up, there were some key injuries to Kansas City that going into the night, and then they lost their backup middle linebacker calling the signals went out last night too. But you look at it, the first 2 games, the Packers started 2-5. In those 7 games, Jordan Love threw an average of 213 yards a game, 11 touchdowns, 8 picks, 55% completion. The last 5 games, they're 4-1. He's throwing for 65 more yards per game, 11 touchdowns, which is the same in that 5 games, but only 2 picks, 66% completion percentage, and his increase in play is correlating to wins.
But this is the thing. Jordan Love threw 11 touchdowns before. I saw it the first half of the season.
No, he didn't. He threw 11 in 7 games versus 11 in 5. 11 to 8 versus 11 to 2 is a big difference.
He threw the ball well.
He didn't. He was horrible at the beginning of the year.
I watched him the first 3 or 4 games. He was fine.
He was terrible.
I look at just his form down the field. He was throwing the ball down the field. Matt LaFleur already came out. Matt LaFleur's done a better job. He opened up the offense. He already talked about that today on Colin. Well, he didn't talk about it, but Colin brought it up. But anyway, the point of the matter is that he was talking about opening up the offense. He was a little afraid because of the picks not to let him do stuff. I think that's more of LaFleur as far as the scheme's going. But anyway, they're going to make the playoffs, number 1. They will make the playoffs. Number 2, young core, youngest team in the league. That's good for them. Number 3, I will give LaFleur some credit for this. I think working with Aaron Rodgers is a pain in the ass. He's ruining New York Jets. The whole organization is ruined, just taking a sinking ship, going down because of Rodgers. And he's not going to even play well next year. He'll suck. And so anyway,
no, he's playing this year.
Oh, yeah, he's stuck. But anyway, short of it is, Love is good. He's tall. He can see the field. You need to have him with like an Andy Reid or somebody like that to do any good. Good quarterback. They will make the playoffs. If they play in Lambeau, I don't know if they will. They'll win a game there. So that's what I have to say about that.
On the other side, they're not
Mike,
going to play in Lambeau. They're going to be a wild card if they even get in.
Well, they'll get in. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes is simple. On the ref stuff, the last call is the egregious one. He gets those all the time. Who cares? It doesn't matter. He gets calls against Chiefs. Get all the calls for pass interference. So that's it. Too bad.
Well, they didn't get the call last night.
No, I know. I'm saying they get all the calls, but they didn't. So last night they didn't. But all through the last 2 years, everyone on talk shows talks about how many calls they get.
It's amazing what happened to the Eagles when they didn't get a lot of calls.
I love it. That's exactly
they're fine.
Thank you, Turner. Thank you.
Coming to Dallas and do some
when you
more
don't get calls and you don't get the luck factor, you lose. The Chiefs, though, Turner, are 2-3 their last 5 games. They're not playing very good football. I mean, I would normally say, it's been on the offense, but last night it was actually on the defense. The Packers scored on almost every drive that they had the ball. I think they punted 1 time. Jordan Love threw 3 touchdowns, and every single big play, the Packers, every single key moment, the Packers came up with a big play offensively. Is there worry in Kansas City? They're 8-4 now after starting 6-1. Mahomes threw a key pick last night. Kelsey is he looks okay, but they still don't have a receiver. I mean, I'm a little worried. They're the 4 seed right now as it sits in the AFC.
Travis Kelce is more concerned with Taylor Swift than winning the Super Bowl this year.
Who are you concerned with her?
Well, he's dating her.
Wait, did you not know that?
Yeah, I knew he was dating.
Oh my God, he didn't know, did he?
Big dog, come on, you gotta know
dude,
the
that's
pop
ridiculous.
She's in the booth.
He only knows ball, guys. All right, he doesn't pay attention to this fucking pop star shit.
No, she's in the booth all the time. It's ridiculous. With Patrick Mahomes' wife. Bottom line is, they'll be fine. They're gonna be just fine. So let's move on to the Kansas City Chiefs will be fine. Now, whether they'll win or not, all right. Miami gets the home field advantage. They ain't going to do good on the road. Miami gets home field advantage, they'll beat the Chiefs. If Miami doesn't get home field advantage, they're out. Next topic.
I could actually, you know what? I don't think Miami's that good. We've always talked about how they're gimmicky, but I do actually agree that if Miami played the Chiefs at home, I think they could actually beat them in a play. If it's not in the cold.
Yeah.
And I hate, I'm not a Tua guy. Neither
I can't
are you.
stand him.
But, and we've always talked about just bringing pressure and hitting Tua, which if you do that early in the game might just win you the football game.
Yeah.
They waited till the end of that game in London to start bringing pressure.
Yeah.
He was T-Rex arm Tua.
I think the Jags will give Miami a hell of a
Oh my God.
The Jags are so bad.
The Jags might if the Chiefs have to go to the Jags are going to win. If Miami has to go to the Jags are going to win.
Did you see what happened when the Jags stepped up in class 2 weeks ago and they lost by 30?
8 games in a row.
They lost by 30.
Doug Peterson, author.
Trevor Lawrence and the boys.
Super Bowl author.
Super Bowl
All right, now
winning coach and author.
Next one.